Hello, welcome to Pompey Talk in association with Giant Leap. My name is Mark McMahon, and joining me in the sofa today is Neil Allen and Jordan Cross. We're here to review the Pompey Accrington game on Saturday. We'll start with you, Neil. A 0-0 result, a bit of a disappointment at the end.
Yeah, it was a fair result. Pompey didn't deserve to win it. Pompey didn't deserve to lose it. And Accrington themselves put up a good fight, and they did show attacking intent as well. So I think awful game, but you can't really moan about the result. Yeah. But then when you look into it, which hopefully we'll dig into it, it is a disappointing result for Pompey, no doubt about that at all.
Where were the problems lie then at Geordie on Saturday?
I mean, fundamentally, it was a lack of creativity. I mean, if you're looking at one area, you can go into the nuances of that and the reasons why the passing and the tempo of the passing in the final third wasn't quite right. There was passes off beam, but fundamentally, the creative players that have stepped up for Pompey this season didn't step up. Kyle Bennett was off the pace. Gary Roberts wasn't in the game. And off the back of that, if you're not creating chances, you're not going to score goals. And I think if you look at the stats, Pompey kind of, over the course of this season, have been up in the 60% for possession. They've been doubling the amount of shots of the opponent. It was 50-50, and I think it's kind of 2 or 3 shots on target across the 90 minutes. I couldn't come up with a lot of shots for the Sports Mail. I know a lot of opportunities. You were waffling away a bit, weren't you, trying to fill it up?
Well, yeah, that's the issue when you get goalless draws. There's not a lot to talk about. Yeah. It really was lacklustre, and it was the first half. You thought, okay, Pompey can kick on second half. All right, let's not worry about this. But second half was much of the same. Pompey had 2 meaningful shots. Accrington had 1. So it was a poor performance. But Pompey never looked like losing. Yeah. But you think, compare it to beating Luton away, beating Plymouth away, great results, no doubt about that. They'll be in the top 8 this season comfortably. Yeah. However, you should be beating sides like Morecambe, Accrington, who won't be that high at home. So you've got that trade-off at the moment, and it was just a disappointing display without doubt. Yeah.
Well, anybody who wasn't at the game on Saturday, we all know Paul Cook sticks with the 4-2-3-1 formation. Was there any sign that he was going to alter that at all, play 2 up front, or did he stick to that there formation?
Well, he made the substitutions with, obviously Jones had to come on through a groin injury for Murphy. That happened at half-time. And the other 2 changes was Chaplin and Tubbs on for Stockley and Bennett. And it was light for light, effectively, still that 4-2-3-1 system. Yeah. So there was no plan B in terms of formation change, just personnel change. And they pepped it up slightly. Tubbs had a good shot in the 81st minute, stopped by the keeper, and Chaplin sparked things up a bit. But it still wasn't enough. And again, he rigidly maintained that formation throughout the game, no matter how poorly Pompey were playing.
Do you think he could have played with 2 up front, Geordie?
You could, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but you've got to look at how successful that formation's been this season, and Pompey tend to dominate possession off the base of having that set up. It's worked wonderfully well. I think it's got to be kept in context. It was a disappointment. Paul Cook came out, he was remarkably honest, said no positives to take from this whatsoever, and went straight through it from top to bottom, his assessments. He's called a spade, but put in the context of the season, generally speaking, there's been optimism and creativity is been in abundance. So, it's got to be put right. You've got to be winning games like that at home. Paul Cook's fully aware of that, and then go and put it right this weekend against Barnet.
Yeah, he said there's no positives, but there is positives still to take. Pompey are one of 3 teams still unbeaten in the league this season. They're still 5th in the table. There's still plenty to look forward to.
Well, that's what people were saying in the back page lead today, saying no positives. People saying, well, okay, they are unbeaten. Paul saying, look, I'm not that kind of person. I don't see a positive to take from the game. He rejected that notion. So that was a decent way of going about things. But no positives to take from that for me either, really.
Right, okay. Well, what do you think is the solution, Neil, going forward to the next game?
Well, it's just don't panic. It's game to game. It was an off day for Pompey. They still didn't lose. I say they're undefeated after 6 games at the moment, 5th in the table. So they're in a good position. It's been a good start to the season regardless. Yeah. Just, as Cook would say, just carry on.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
That's the famous Paul Cook
catchphrase. So, just then obviously Barnet, who are 21st in the table at the moment. Yeah. That's another one you think, right, Barnet at home, surely have to win that one.
Yeah.
I think there might be a bit of a different kettle of fish, because Accrington do deserve credit. They came out and they had a go. They didn't park the bus. They got it right. And Joel Coleman, the Pompey fans did applaud them off after the game, and he gave kudos to the Pompey fans for that. But there were some impressive players there. Josh Windaz caught the eye for me, and they came out and got it right. And teams will do that. They did kind of sink further back, and as the game wore on, and put bodies behind the ball and naturally make things difficult. But people aren't going to be gung ho when they come to Fratton Park. They're going to play the counter attack in the game. And they got it off to a tee, to be fair to them.
Well, exactly. The criticism at Crawley, the goal of straws, where the Crawley wanted the point.
Yeah.
They put all 11 men behind the ball, and they wanted the points. Now, Saturday, Accrington did go for it at times. They did attack. They passed the run around nicely. You can't fault the way they approached the game, and it was an away game for them as well. So the goal of straw wasn't down to Accrington being negative. It was about Pompey failing to create enough. Yeah. Simple as that. And we've seen Pompey create goals. We've seen Pompey score goals this season. Throughout the squad, they've scored goals. So it's just move on, and then hopefully they can rediscover that touch. And again, it's rare you find so many players, attacking players, off colour that day, because, as you say, so all the attacking people you rely on, none of them really fired. You could tell within a few minutes it wasn't going to be Bennett's day. Didn't go for Roberts either, and Evans as well, and Stockley. It just didn't come off. But they're still undefeated, aren't they? And they're still in a great position in the league.
But you've been very critical on portsmouth.co.uk, haven't you? Neil from Nottingham.
Yes,
Apparently, you were the reason that there was sort of smattering of boos on the final whistle.
Well, I was going to mention the boos. I didn't know whether I should or not, though. But there's been a bit of debate why there was boos at the final whistle. Was it the referee? Was it the acting team? Was it for Pompey's performance at the end of the day?
There's no way. It's so difficult to differentiate who they were booing or what they were booing. You don't know. There were boos at the final whistle. We've got video of that. No doubt that there were boos at the final whistle. Some people have said it's towards the referee. And then somebody said, wait a minute, why would you boo a referee at the final whistle? You normally wait for the referee to come back in. Some people have said they actually definitely heard people booing the team.
It's probably a mixture of both. But the referee was a central figure with the bookings, and he should have sent off McConville, really. In the first half, there was an altercation with Davies where it was like Greco-Roman wrestling. They were kind of mauling around the floor, and Davies is trying to extricate himself, but then he gave him a kind of short rabbit punch. And it was kind of very clear from the press box, but then that could have changed the balance of the game, and then the fans picked up on it. So it
was a poor referee.
But to be fair, in your match report, you did say it was hard to decipher what was on that.
It was a poor referee, but again, you don't know who they are booing, do you? No. But people have come out on social media and said that they've heard different ways. So I don't know, but there were boos there. You can't argue with that, and but you can argue.
It was a smattering as well. It wasn't like an overwhelming sort of.
Right. Okay. Well, just one final question for both of you. Obviously, you can't base a transfer policy on one result, but the loan window starts again on Wednesday. Are we likely to see any comings and goings at Pompey now on the back of that result? A panic buy, if you want to call it.
Let's go panic buy. Yeah. No, I had a brief chat with Cook about that after the game. He said they're going to look at that this week in terms of getting some of the younger ones out. There's players there that need to play. I mean, you've got people like Cal Naismith who's come back now, and you've got 24 men in the squad. There's not going to be enough to keep everyone happy. Paul Cook said that time and again that players need to go out. In terms of coming in, I mean, as we all know, the marquee striker, they were looking long and hard for that last week, went close on a number of different decent targets, as we talked about in Pompey Talk Extra Time, and the right back and central defensive areas are well known areas that are looking to recruiting.
He's got a 24-man squad. He's got a big old squad there, isn't he?
What's he say? He said he wanted a 20-man with a couple of youngsters thrown in.
Yeah.
I found quotes. I was going back through some old quotes from June, and he was saying, as low as 18.
Yeah,
it's up to 24.
Well, you've got James Dunn there as well. He was thrown in against Reading for a few minutes to remind us he's still here. Yeah. Then he didn't make the Johnson Paint Trophy C squad, and he's still around training. So. Surely he's going to be prime candidate to be loaned out. Yeah. Like you say, Naismith needs game time. Adam Barton needs game time as well. And these guys aren't getting in the squad at the moment. So Ben Close, another one.
Of course, who's been excellent in the appearances.
And in terms of people coming in then, is there anything that could be happening then? You said Jordy right back is something that they need to sort out.
Well, but I think Paul Cook's way of assessing it is that he's not going to go out and take a substandard product. Yeah. If he wants to get a player in, he wants to improve it. And he was working hard on players that probably kind of championship quality last week. And these players are they prepared to step down to League Two? It's tough because it's a big drop, isn't it? So if he can't get those players that he think can make a real difference, he's not prepared to go out and get less. And I think that's a a decent way of going about his business, but it means it might be long and hard and work a bit harder to get players in.
He's also coming from a position of strength in that Pompey are doing well. So he doesn't have to panic and bring players in. If Pompey are really struggling, or any team really struggling towards the bottom of the league, or failing to meet expectations, they'll be getting players in left, right and centre on loan, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to do that. The team's doing very well at the moment. Largely consistent, aren't they? He's got the same squad, so he doesn't need to panic and straight away bring players in, as we saw last season, where panic loans were made.
Every time there's a bad result, a couple of players turned up.
And you talk about quality, they were worse than the players that were here probably 2 years ago, just atrocious. So he doesn't need to make panic loans. So hopefully we won't see Cole Kapekwa this season.
Or Madfish. Okay, well lads, thanks for your thoughts again. This has been Pompey Talk in association with Giant Leap. We're back again on Friday with a preview to the Barnet game. I'll see you then. Goodbye.